I'm trying to find something very important, which is the Washington State UCLA graphic to use as my background.
Nice. All right, start recording. Everybody, welcome to the POC quarantine extravaganza. Thanks for joining us. I'm Ryan Abraham, and that's David Woods somewhere.
That's me. Yeah. No, I'm in the middle of some important research. Research. Where do we go on that?
Research.
You're in the research camp. All right. Cool.
Let's see who else we got here. Thanks for joining, everybody. We appreciate you coming on. This is fun. Or it will be.
It will be eventually, as soon as I can get my JPEG.
Your background. Let me see here. Some backgrounds.
Like, I'm having to do some photo editing right now. This is a lot going on for this is the kind of planning that goes into the POC.
Here, I'll do my beach background.
All right, let's see if this will work. Hang on.
Mike has got an interesting avatar.
There we go. Let's see. All right, there I am. Cool.
Hi.
All right, now we've got Tom now. We've got Big Nick.
Yeah, Big Nick 21 from.
Oh, we've got Matthew, the one of 3 Stanford fans, I think.
After this last season, I think we're down to 2.
And I think we got Shane next to Matthew on my screen, at least.
Yes, Shane with some classic emails.
Yeah, the whole crew. John from Brea. All right, so Ryan, I'm sure you had a plan for this, right?
Yeah. So you're taking notes, right?
Mm-hmm.
So
yeah.
What's first on the agenda?
I'm sure something will come to me. Yeah. Well, thank you guys all for being here. We really appreciate it. What's everybody drinking? What's everybody drinking out there?
I got Fat Tire.
I've got a Budweiser.
Guinness is a mood.
Some beer from Cincinnati somebody gave me.
Oh.
Famous brewing town, Cincinnati.
Yeah.
Oh,
Right.
we've got people in the chat too. Okay.
We're on 2 pages. I did not expect 2 pages.
So we got,
Yeah, so we got 30 people in here.
damn.
Let me look at the chat. We got Herocious.
We've got Gunnell. So where does everyone stand on Gunnell versus Gunnell?
Definitely Gunnell.
Gunnell, right? It sounds way better.
Let me turn up the volume a little.
I think my favorite part is that we're getting a glimpse of everyone's internet connection, and it's really a beautiful thing. Ooh, so that's a bathroom I'm seeing right here. Who's this on the bathroom?
It's a bar.
It's a bar? It looks
That's the Coug.
It literally looks like a bathroom. That's awesome.
Yeah, it's a pretty sketchy little place, but it's fun.
Yeah, it's one of Ryan's favorite places.
Oh yeah.
I want to hear your 2-year-old daughter playing her xylophone. Can we get it off mute for just a second so we can hear it? Are we getting any xylophone? Anybody hearing any xylophone? No, I got no xylophone. Okay. All right.
Alberto, what are you drinking? That looks serious.
Whiskey water.
That's good. Oh, Alberto's got a good beard.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
Yeah.
I used to have it like yours, but then I started working in a hospital, so they told me I gotta,
You got to trim it down. Well, you don't have any white in it, so you don't have it like me.
I think you're younger than me.
The shocking thing is I am just 34 years old. Just 34. Yeah.
35. All right,
Ooh.
man.
Yeah, I know. It's a rough one. It's a
All the
real
time.
rough one.
It's not the years, it's the
How old did
mileage.
you guess Ryan is? Ryan looks like a youthful, 28, right?
53.
Well, who said that? You're getting muted.
45.
45.
I'm 49. 49. Yeah.
Yeah.
Ryan's been 49 since 1984, though.
That's fair.
I feel like a lot of 70s things have come up on the podcast, so that's where the 50s.
That's all Ryan. Except if it's about a U.S. president, then it's me.
Yeah, that's 1870s.
then it's basically 1870s. Or those who were born in the 1770s, that's fine too.
The Disney princesses. We had Amy, I think you tweeted us, you just found our show recently. You're muted. All right.
Yep. Yeah. Yeah, I just found your show and I'm very much enjoying it. You guys are great. So I'm a Utah fan. Go Utes!
Oh, nice.
Oh yeah, we should get who. So all right. So is there any way to do this in an organized way to see who we have representatives from? Because I know.
Good luck.
I know Shane. I'm well aware is a huge Oregon fan. I know Hifliday is a huge Washington guy. Matthew, as we've talked about, is the one bannerman of the Stanford Cardinal. But who else we have? I know there's probably some UCLA and USC people. You guys don't need to talk. We want to hear from the randoms, the weirdos.
I'm
fans
an
of
Ohio
other
State
teams.
guy. Woods, you got an Ohio State Buckeye right here.
Wow.
What? That's not Pack.
We'll take what we can get.
Well, we'll take it. Yeah, I'll take it.
Well,
yeah.
Anybody else? Any Cal fans? I want to hear any Cal fans. Anybody? Anyone?
Oh, we got one. Larry.
Well.
All right. Okay.
y'all didn't get my joke. I'm a Washington fan.
I don't think I had you on screen. Otherwise, I would have seen it. We got Wazoo. I see the Coug.
Yep, go Cougs.
Do we have any Arizona? No. Arizona. All right, so we can talk shit about Arizona.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Jason Steer doesn't promote us enough, so.
Talk shit about Arizona because your biggest competition is from Tucson as far as like a Pac-12 wide podcast. That's the Arizona Wildcat people.
You know what it was, Andrew? I didn't see your name when I saw the Ohio State, which is why I didn't get your joke.
Yeah.
Oh,
There it was. There was the
xylophone.
We're live.
And Taylor
That was
said in
awesome.
the chat, Taylor went to Arizona, but he's a UCLA fan.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
I'm sorry for Taylor.
Yeah, no, man. I saw Royce Hall in the background there. I think it was Royce.
Yeah, my college roommate made that for me as a graduation gift.
Nice. That rules. Well, cool.
Beard's got a good beard there. We got some good beards.
That's a good one. What do we
This
got
is
there?
trimmed way down from before the mask had to be on every day.
But it's not dyed blue.
It would be if it were a football day.
Well, this is kind of a football day.
No, it's do you want me to go dye it blue?
I mean, how long is
My
that
wife
gonna take?
says no. My wife says no. No, it's blue for every UCLA football game. If you came, Dave, you would see.
Wow.
We have an extra ticket. We have an extra ticket if you want to come to a game.
Does anyone really come anymore?
No.
We're at every game.
Dave, I'll put a background from something in your home state. That's from Augusta.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. You know how much I love golf.
And Georgia.
And Georgia, the state.
It's far the nicest picture of Georgia you can find.
Yeah, no, the only nice parts of Georgia are on a golf course. That's a lie. It's actually a very lovely state. There's a lot of woody and rivery areas. But I've got the best part of Washington, the state of Washington here. You can see in my background.
Dave, is that the photo that got you banned from the UCLA site?
Yeah, that's the one that got UCLA football to block me.
Look at that. Even in that one, they can't draw the feet.
No. This was the historic, like, they couldn't draw the feet.
He's sinking into the ground.
Yeah, no, that was one of my notes. I was just trying to provide some, like, I don't know, just some notes, some, like, helpful criticisms, and they apparently didn't like them.
You know, the Rose Bowl might be empty, but we're still willing to block fans on Twitter.
Yeah, can you guys see the birds here? Because the birds, I think, are a critical piece of the artistic work here. Ooh, there's the blue beard. Look at that. Is everyone seeing that blue beard?
That's every home game.
That's impressive. It really brings out your eyes.
Those are contacts.
Wow, really?
Oh,
Okay, yeah, I want to go to a game with you. I think that'll be fun.
You can have a ticket. Wow. That's for an SC game. SC games I paint.
Wow.
Nice.
There's a grill in that year. I don't know if you can really see it.
Oh, yeah, I've got it. Wow.
It's dumb. It's real dumb. I can't help it now.
I really hope Joe just had a typo in chat because he said I've already been scalded twice for not helping my wife with my 2 children.
Yeah.
I really hope it's scolded. I really hope she's not throwing burning water on him, man.
Soup on him.
Well, I'm glad it's not just typos in our emails we get. There's just even in the chat room, there's typos and stuff. That's good.
Yeah. Combined with our inability to read and everyone in this chat's inability to write, we're really like synergy.
Nice. Who else we got here? Tom, who are you a fan of? It looks like that's not a coronavirus quarantine beer. That's full time, all the time beer.
Yeah, no, that's correct. That's right. Actually, I just trimmed it today for the first time in about like a month and a half. So, yeah, but no, that's true. And actually, I had this beard long before probably Dave did, but at the same time, it's one of those things where there is a bit of maintenance involved. It's more than you would think.
I don't maintain mine at all. I just let it grow until such a point where it becomes like cumbersome, like it's like folding over my lip, and then I have to trim it. That's basically my strategy with the beard.
It doesn't irritate you when you get this on your lip? That doesn't bother you?
It's only at that point when I trim it, but my mustache grows a little bit slower than everything else. And sometimes I'll just do that and then let the rest of it still go. Because my whole thing with having a beard is that I didn't want to continue to have to shave every day. So if I'm going to like have to sit there and do a bunch of maintenance, it kind of defeats the purpose for me.
Okay.
I'm really, this is compelling facial hair talk. You can tell it's the off season.
Oh my God!
And because I was actually interested.
We're staying on brand, John. We're just trying to. This is what we do.
Didn't the conference net up in facial hair for the coaches? Because you go in Pullman, you went from no facial hair to facial hair. In Seattle, you went no facial hair to facial hair. And then what else? Were those the only 2?
Does Carl Durrell have facial hair?
No, Carl Durrell is famously son of a military man. I don't think he's ever grown a facial hair.
Nice.
What else do we have? So Kyle Whittingham can grow like a grizzly beard. Like he can grow like I've been in the woods for a while beard.
Kyle Whittingham can grow anything, and
Yeah.
he looks fabulous.
He can grow incredible calves. We know that. Who else we got? So Justin Wilcox, I'm sure he can grow a grizzly man beard. Looks like he's got some beard in him.
He's probably got a quarantine beard. I don't think he's not normally.
No. I think he's a clean-shaven guy, but you can see like he's got like some stuff going on there. I think Cristobal, I don't think he can grow one.
Yeah. It's Christian.
Hifliday. Let us know if Cristobal can grow a beard. That's your duty here. Do you think
we got Christian there? I want to know if he's got a beard. What's his beard? You got a lot of like lower beard.
No, it's a massive neck beard. That's all I got.
No, but that's great. That's great. The ability to grow a solid neck beard is an important asset. There's lots of people who can't grow anything beyond like little mustache wisps. So having a neck beard.
I just passed that hurdle last weekend.
Dave, what about Chip?
Chip can grow stubble, which I don't know about a beard, but he can definitely grow a stubble. The thing is, blonde, like guys who are really pale and blonde, like you've got to be able to grow a lot of beard to make it look good, because a blonde beard just doesn't stand out very well until it gets
I think I saw Chip the other day. He's got a lot of stubble right now.
Yeah, he would do that if you noticed, and as an aficionado, I did. On the post-practice interviews, he would often have not shaved like Tuesday, Wednesday, and then by Thursday, he had some stuff.
Gotcha.
I think
he was in line at. I think he was in line at Fat Sal's the other day. It looked pretty good.
Where are you guys going? Are you guys all going on a walk?
Oh, we got someone in the should mute themselves.
We're getting real life right here. Oh, we got Disney princesses. Give me the background on Disney princesses right here.
Okay. Do you think Drew's gonna?
Taylor, nice.
Ryan, are you controlling who goes on the background? Like who goes on the main thing?
No, it's. I think it's different for everybody.
Is it dynamic?
Yeah, you can do instead of speaker view, do gallery view.
Oh, I'm pinning his video right now because I wanted to see which Disney princesses he has.
Okay, Taylor.
Taylor.
Yeah.
Okay, we got Mulan, we got Snow White, we've got Tiana, we've got Cinderella, we've got Belle, we've got what's her name? What's the brave girl's name? Merida. We've got Rapunzel. Your head's blocking a lot more. We've got Ariel. All right, scoot over the other way. Other way. All right, we've got Aurora. We've got Jasmine, and we've got Pocahontas. All right, cool.
Wow. Pretty good.
Wow. Oh man, could do it in my sleep. So I've got every song from Frozen 2 just playing in my head day and night, all day. It's a nightmare. It's a living, waking nightmare.
How many of those could you have named like 6 years ago, 5 years ago?
You guys are on
Frozen 2? None, unless I was like prescient in some way. Frozen 1, I could sing Frozen 1 like the entire thing. I could recite all of Frozen 1 from start to finish. I don't know if I could do it anymore because they kind of fell out of it, but I could do it as of like 2 years ago. I could recite the lines. I knew the music drops. I knew the whole thing. Never have children. Do we have any more comments in chat? We've got some more stuff. Joe says, I've watched Cinderella every night since the lockdown. Wow. So that's a tough one. With little kids watching classic Disney, because first you have to deal with like Peter Pan, which, like there's whole sections of that thing that are like deeply, violently racist. And then you've got like the old Disney stuff where it starts with the credits. They think the movie is over. Like it's starting with this long list of names. Who wants that? It's like 3 minutes of it. That's all I'm saying. No one else has any strong feelings on Disney? No? I still have Taylor's video. I still have his thing pinned, by the way. I think I might just stare at this the rest of the night. I think that's what I'm going to do.
Andrew, if you could share your screen, if you have any of those eye charts, we can check out. That'd be good.
I can do that. I got another one for you right there. I got another one.
Is he down? Who knows?
Oh, he wasn't down. No way. Absolutely not.
Andrew, can you make your background an eye chart?
I can do that. Do we have a request for a team?
Make it my gloves chart.
We got a few Utah people on here. Maybe like how many times Utah likes to run the ball on second and short in away games. If you have a chart like
you don't even have a feel for what Andrew likes to do.
Yeah. Can't help with that so much, but I'll throw a little love to our Utes up there. They've done. I always say it. They've done everything they've been asked to do since joining the conference. They haven't lost to BYU. They swept Michigan. They've done their job. So I'm forever grateful for the Utes for that. So I'll throw a little Utes eye chart up here.
All right, I'm excited for it.
We want no explanations, only just chart.
None. Alex and SB asked, does Carl Durrell have facial expressions? And it's really, so he's got this. And then when he's happy, it's a little bit of, and that's it. That's all he's got. He doesn't really have an angry face. Like, he's a pretty composed guy, but he's got a little bit of a happy face.
The year with all those fourth quarter comebacks, he was just stone-faced during all of them.
Honestly, so he pulled a complete, like, he set everyone up. It was like a huge rope-a-dope because he got so excited during the 2006 UCLA win over USC that everyone was like, oh, my God, is Guy finally a good coach? This is great. Oh, my God, he's, like, actually showing emotion. And then he never, ever, like, even raised his voice again. It was awesome.
He's on the spectrum.
Well, did UCLA ever do anything after that to justify him getting excited?
Matthew, was that a nice question or was that a mean question? What do you think? Was that maybe a little bit mean to me and to the other UCLA people on this chat? No, 2007, which was the year he was fired, which was the year after that USC went, featured, I want to say, the worst, one of the worst performances from a quarterback I've ever seen at UCLA when McLeod Bethel Thompson turned the ball over like 7 times against Notre Dame at home. One of the worst Notre Dame teams of all time, and they lost. That was cool. Very cool, actually. One of the coolest games I've ever seen.
And yet, it was our last win over Stanford before log into last year.
Oh, yeah. How many other people have Taylor in their name? So how many Taylors do we got? Everybody who's a Taylor, raise your hand. This can be your first name is Taylor, your last name is Taylor, your profession is Taylor, anything like that, we'll take it.
Profession.
A Taylor, a Brendan Taylor.
Oh, we've got
Andrew Taylor.
Present.
Okay.
We got at least 3.
So what do you think that's about? Why do you think we have so many Taylors? Ryan, you got any thoughts?
No,
Ryan's drunk. He's got nothing.
I'm not drunk yet. I want to be drunk, but I'm not like I was gonna drink and I took a nap, so I was like, I didn't.
It's really weird how Hifliday hasn't spoken, because I think the interesting thing is here, he is Rusty Fence, and he doesn't want us to hear his voice because I think Rusty Fence is called in with a voice.
Yes.
Thoughts, comments, concerns? Anyone?
Why have we not heard from Hifliday? We want to see a photo and we want to see video.
Yeah, that's what I came for.
I'm disappointed.
He's writing a 3-page comment in the chat, so just wait for it to finish.
Oh.
He's coming up with the correct pronunciation of all the Latin phrases he's going to drop on us right now.
I'm disappointed his video's not on because I wanted to see all his Patrick Nagel posters in the background.
Thank you, Stu. HB7 Stu, right there.
This is good season content. You can just have a roast of all of your listeners.
I love that we're at the point where we can just roast a particular listener and everyone is getting the jokes. That's a great place to be.
Speaking of which, is this just next week's episode? Is that this?
It might have to be.
Well, there's been actual news. We kind of need to, there's actually new stuff going on we probably need to talk about.
Oh, what?
The media days are going to be virtual now. So
my God.
Weren't they always?
Yeah, pretty much. So they're doing virtual ones. Oregon came out, the governor said that, they're not going to have any kind of mass gatherings until at least the end of September. So that means Ohio State going to Oregon is, in question with people there. I don't know. There's some newsy stuff.
Look at my face right now. This is the face whenever Ryan is reading the news.
I'm not reading it. Just that's.
Yeah, Ryan, start talking about spring practice. Do it.
Oh,
Do it.
Yeah. So
if it's up to Dave, this will be the next POC. But I think Ryan will put some effort to put something out. But if it's up to Dave, this would be the next podcast. For sure.
Andrew Taylor has a feel for this. He knows. He gets it.
Yes.
I mean, Dave does do 90% of the work, doesn't he?
Well, that's the thing is I put so much of my life force, my soul into this right now, that then having to do it again to gear up for another show would just be I don't want to ever give to you, the listener, like just a small percentage of myself, right? I want to give 90%, right? And never 100, but 90, a solid 90. And I just wouldn't be able to do that twice a week.
Yeah.
Ryan's fine half-assing. Ryan's fine giving 10%, just showing up, without a care in the world, not looking at the news, not having any idea what's going on.
We need to do our intro.
Why?
Why the fuck not? So all the sausages made. So Dave, you start. So here we go. All right, Dave.
All right, so how does it go again?
So it would be like I finally get him on the phone and he's like, screaming at kids or something. I'm like, and his internet's not doing whatever. Like, okay, Dave, you can go in 5.
All right.
Yeah.
And then I'll keep talking when he's trying to.
I'm like, no, you have to be quiet for a second so I can edit this because you don't do any editing. I have to edit it and I have to take the sound out. The
Welcome
noise.
everyone back to the podcast of champions. I'm David Woods, Bruin Report Online, the UCLA site on the 24/7 Sports Network.
And I'm Ryan Abraham from USCFootball.com, the USC site of the 24/7 Sports Network. And together we make the podcast of champions, talking all things Pac-12 football. Dave, we got an exciting show, a live audience today in the PLC. Are you ready?
No. Under no circumstances am I ready for this.
Wait, you didn't do my favorite part where your podcast is found in more places than the Pac-12 network.
Yeah. Yes. Ryan, where was the recording? This is this is exactly what I'm talking about, the failure in the production value. If I'm not carrying this thing, then it just falls flat.
Well, that's not live. We don't say that. That's just part of our pre-produced
whatever, Ryan.
Intro.
Whatever. The people demanded it and you didn't give it.
I guess I could play it on my computer.
No. Let's move on, Ryan. It's already been a failure.
Play it.
I covered it for you, so you're covered. I got you.
Yeah, Amy got it. We're good. Do you know how to get a hold of us? Email Joe, Pac-12podcast@gmail.com. Call or text us. We like to get those. We don't get a lot of text. 424-532-0678. Or you can tweet us on the Twitter @Pac-12 Podcast. Our website is always Pac-12podcast.com. Find our old episodes. You got Reddit. Baby crying.
Is there a baby?
There's a baby.
Show us the baby. I want to see the baby.
Show us the baby.
I would like to see the baby.
Here you go.
Where's the baby? Show
You
me
see
the
him?
baby. Okay, hang on. I gotta find who's got the baby.
Where? Oh, here you go.
Oh, there's a baby.
Oh.
Aw. How old are you talking?
4 months.
Aw.
Congrats.
Sorry about my terrible haircut. My wife did it, so.
No, that's incredible.
Yeah.
That's a good look.
You gotta do what you gotta do. Work from home life, right?
No, you should keep that after quarantine.
Haircut of the job, huh?
Yeah. Oh no, that's beautiful.
I think there'll be a lot
Ryan,
of beards.
You were talking some nonsense on the baby when we all had to look at the baby.
We were just doing our little intro. I don't know. I thought we'd do that. But...
Yeah. Did you finish your things that you say?
Oh, I read.
No joke. Do you guys I don't know how many of you listened to the one that I had to do solo where I had to read the contact info. Yeah. That's an impossible job, honestly. Like
not that hard.
To do that the same way every time, I would lose my mind if I had to be like in charge of that. There's no way. That's
why we make a team, because there's certain shit you just can't do, or certain shit I don't want to do. That's what we do.
Yeah. Yeah, that's it. It's a 50-50 partnership. Totally.
You did a really good job promoting this, Dave.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Hey, I responded to Andrew's email. I responded to a few people's emails.
Oh, you did? Okay.
Did I say hi or anything, or did I just copy and paste the Zoom info?
You copy and pasted the Zoom info.
Look.
Zoom info is wrong on the website, by the way.
What?
Yeah, it was missing the 7 at the end of the link.
Ryan looks terrified.
Is it really?
Yeah, it's missing the 7 at the end of the
oh, man.
info.
You guys are like 3 times as popular as this, probably.
Holy shit. Okay, I'm going to fix that right now.
How did so many people get in here?
I had to re-listen to the podcast to find it.
Oh, dedication.
Well, Hifaday's already into his like 7th run through.
All right, let me see this.
Wait, you re-listened to the podcast, so that means you typed in the link when they read it out loud?
I just added a 7.
Incredible.
Wait, where's the set? So
I used this
847.
site and I got here just fine.
I clicked on the link too, so I don't know, but I clicked on the link.
It's the meeting ID after it that's missing the 7.
Oh. Okay, other Taylor. Okay, Disney Taylor.
All right, that shit's fixed.
John from Brea types, I liked when Dave did the solo podcast and you could hear how much pain he was in towards the end. It's true. It's true. And actually, if you've ever listened to a post-game broadcast that I do for the UCLA site, you can hear that pain on a weekly basis during the football season.
I listen to those just for the pain. It's good.
Yeah, the pain actually is start to finish for those because it's UCLA football I'm talking about.
Your solo podcast, I was on like a 10-mile run or something, so I couldn't bear to pull my phone out and change it. So I suffered to listening through all the way to the end.
Oh, yeah.
Nice, Darren.
That's great.
I used one of your things, Dave. I did the Pac-12 network like radio show with Ryan Leaf and I think it was Guy Haberman, and they were talking about the UCLA thing. I'm like, yeah, they have the one thing with Chip Kelly. He hasn't won an out-of-conference game yet. You got to get over that hump first. So that perfect out-of-conference record is something we're going to be watching if we get football.
Yeah. I mean, it's going to be really, really hard for him to lose to New Mexico State, but I think he can find a way.
Is that the opener?
Yeah, I don't know, man. You're asking me a question of knowledge, not pontification. Hang on. First, there won't be a football season. Second, New Mexico State's the first one on theoretically August 29th.
You think no football season, really?
Nah, I don't know about no football season.
Don't listen to him.
You say that I'm hanging out.
See,
there'll be an SEC season. There'll definitely be SEC football to watch. Maybe not us, but someone they'll definitely be playing. There's no way they won't.
I don't know, man. I think there's going to be – so I know they all want to. I get that they all want to, but there's going to be so many liability issues. Like if they suddenly decide they're going to put a bunch of players out there when they're not having like kids on campus.
You think those state governments are going to let people sue football teams for that? No way. They're definitely going to play.
Well, I guess that's right. As a resident of one of those states, I think that's right. I think that's fair.
I think there was a Feinbaum quote or something. They were saying like if the SEC has to just play by themselves and have a championship in Atlanta at the end of the year, that's what they would do. So what's the quote I saw today on some Feinbaum tweet or something?
They'll definitely claim it as a national championship too.
Yeah.
I mean, and with some fairness, let's be honest.
I'm pretty sure the Big Ten's going to play too. I think one of the main teams that'll be out there is Ohio State. But James Franklin said, if you can't play, you can't play.
Yeah. Was that today or yesterday or something? Yeah.
I think that was yesterday.
How can you just test people when they try to get in the stadium?
Yeah. I want to be clear. I'd be completely fine with UCLA just by itself not playing a football season. Like, totally fine. That's fine. 11 other teams can play in the Pac-12. Yeah. No. Yeah, just look, if that's what it takes, if you've got to, like, just cancel the football season just so everyone feels really good about basketball, fine. That's totally cool. I'm cool with that.
Hey, what do you think about the top recruit basketball leading the NBA?
I think it's a good decision for him, not knowing whether a college basketball season is going to happen and getting, some amount of money. Obviously, it sucks for UCLA. I don't know. It'll shave a little bit up the upside off next year's team, but not. He was a really nice to have. It might be more like a top 15 team next year than a top 5 team, which is what it might have been with Knicks. But I think it's a good decision for him. Kind of sucks for UCLA, but they had a. Go ahead.
What about going forward as far as college basketball with this whole like G League thing where they're paying kids to go straight from high school to the G League? Is it going to ruin college basketball?
No. I mean, no more so than any of this stuff has ruined college basketball. And, I mean, you can make a claim that one and done has already done the job. I would say it'll change it a little bit, but the NCAA's got to get competitive. They've got to really try to relax restrictions on how much and how the functions of how these guys get paid will work. And this name, image, and likeness thing, I mean, it's a good start, but I don't think it can be the finish of it, because they're never going to be competitive with what maybe the top guys are going to get if they can go to the G League. And I think the Jalen Green contract, I think it was something like $500,000, something like that. And I don't think the NCAA is going to get super competitive with that, because I think the G League will just change its rules to make sure they can still get the top 5, top 10 guys every year. But if they can make it so the high 4-star dudes aren't going and the low 5-star guys aren't going like at 100% clip, then I don't think it'll change it that drastically from what it was just before one and done started, where the best guys were going straight to the NBA anyway. So I like it from like an equitable for the players standpoint. They have a better chance of getting money this way. But I think it's just going to change college basketball again. You're probably going to have more of a team and constant oriented product where it might be a slightly lower, top end talent level. But you might get more consistent rosters this way.
Thank you, Dave. I know, Ryan, I can't ask you about college basketball. It's from Big Nick.
Yeah, this is the college basketball show.
Yeah. When Dave starts talking basketball, I just kind of tune out. I go get my beer. And just like, by the way, they're not a sponsor of the POC, but of my podcast, the Peristyle Podcast. We got the Trader Jose's.
Oh, so you're cross-pollinating right now? Am I getting a cut?
I'm gonna do, well, since I can't most of the I can promote my show on this one. So.
I had to give Ryan a break about basketball.
I'm sorry, what was that?
I had to get a restroom break when we talked about college basketball. Let you go get some alcohol,
Yeah, that's good. Hey, Nick, that DSL, we're gonna upgrade that. We're gonna get you some high-speed internet there.
Yeah, no. When you have to not call anybody on the phone when you're on the internet, we got to do something about that, buddy. Dude, you got to get some new AOL discs.
That could be before your time, Dave. I don't even know.
It was around my time. It was when I was like 11 years old.
Yeah.
Which is peak being an asshole on the internet, by the way. So it kind of coincided perfectly for me.
11?
Like 12. Like 12.
That young? Wow.
Yeah. Yeah. Yep.
That's when you
learned.
Yeah,
peak like just going into chat rooms, like AOL chat rooms, and just shit posting at people. Beautiful time.
Nice. So we have not heard from Hitler, right? Is it Hitler? You there? You're just like listening.
Hitler's here. He's just muted.
I'm just here so I don't get fined.
Wow.
Oh,
did you hear that? The dulcet tones.
The synthesizer.
That
was beautiful.
Someone put that in the chat that he was like auto-tune. Like there was, so he would have one of those things go. I don't know. Do that on Zoom?
Maybe.
What are the odds he used a voice synthesizer to change his voice so we couldn't compare him to Rusty Fence?
Yeah, I need to. So you've got the recording now, right, Ryan?
Yeah, I'm recording this.
Okay, so we're gonna need to do some forensic audio analysis.
Yeah,
which
you
I
guys
think
have
that's
to enemy of the state that.
Well, because I do so much for this show, I think that's going to be Ryan's department to do the forensic audio analysis.
I got a busy evening. I got a flip cup Zoom after this, so that's the real stuff going on.
I get it.
It's literally like our volleyball people. They do instead of like because we usually go. I'd coach volleyball on Thursday nights, then we go to the bar and do flip cup. So they said, "Oh, we'll just do flip cup Zooms." They've been doing it for like a month and a half. They just get people together and you play flip cup on Zoom. So I don't know. People are bored.
You're living the 49-year-old life of a 23-year-old, and I appreciate that about you.
I try.
It's beautiful.
Oh man. So, what else going on? Someone say something interesting. Shane, read us an email.
Write us an email.
I already wrote my email for this week, so you have to do it on the next show. But I want to throw out our commitment to rivalry fandom and shout out Andrew as I assume the only person on this podcast who makes annual donations to schools that kept his biggest rival from winning a national championship.
Wow.
Including donating to both the Ohio State University and Auburn University annually.
Holy shit.
That's impressive.
Yeah. Now it's not. We're not talking large sums of money here. Maybe someday, but not. When they won, when Auburn beat them, I wanted to make everybody mad. Like I wanted to like make all the. If you live in Seattle, you probably know some Oregon people, and I wanted to make all the Oregon people in my life mad. So I made a donation to Auburn just to get like the letterhead in the mail telling you like what a wonderful person you are for, supporting young people and all that stuff. They send you all sorts of letterhead. And so I did that, threw it on Facebook, made everybody mad. It was great. So then in 2014 did the same thing. Did it with North Carolina as well, because we had a apocalyptic scenario a couple years ago with Gonzaga and Oregon in the Final Four. God bless North Carolina for bailing us out of that one. So I made a donation to North Carolina too. So yeah, no, I troll Oregon pretty hard. But for a certain special Oregon fan, and there's a few of them out there.
There's one of them on this chat, I think.
Yeah, for sure. But there's respect. There's respect because we are two of the more crazy. I guess I do. It does feel to me like it's the nastiest rivalry in the conference. So with that does come some deep down inside a little bit of respect for sure, for the hardcore types who've been around for a while. But yeah, I troll them pretty hard.
You don't think it's Utah, Colorado?
The Rocky Mountain. Yeah, the Territorial Cup is pretty. That one, and then
which one's that again? That's Cal Stanford, right?
Arizona. It's Arizona. But and then Utah BYU. I enjoyed when Utah joined the conference, and I was reading up on that. I kind of enjoyed like that culture, like kind of reading the comments on articles in the Deseret News and all that. You kind of see how they fight, just like Washington Oregon fans fight. So that was I enjoyed that. That's a sneaky awesome one. I got to go get to one of those someday.
Yeah.
It's the Holy Ward.
Yeah.
Yeah. Where does everyone stand on the budding ASU Utah rivalry? Do we think it's a rivalry?
Yeah.
It's a Twitter rivalry.
We don't like ASU.
No.
Well, what's been going on with that? I missed that.
Who said no? Who said no? Was it an ASU person or you?
No, I said no. It's not a rivalry. You got to have more than just being good at the same time.
No, but the fan bases seem to really, really dislike each other.
If you were at the game this year, I mean, the game got real heated. I don't know if anybody else on the.
It was, yeah.
But like ASU had a couple of flags for like a bad form tackle when a player got kicked out of the game, and then some crazy Utes fan like sent like a death threat or something. So I think that's a pretty good indication that it's gotten fairly heated.
Yeah, if you've got a death threat involved, I think you're getting into good rivalry territory.
Yeah.
Dennis from Heber City, Utah, sent a death threat to that ASU player that got kicked out of the game.
Damn.
And his mom called him out.
It's always fucking Dennis.
People are confusing Utah Twitter with rivalries. Utah just hates everybody on Twitter, and they'll let you know about it.
Utah
that doesn't make it a rivalry.
really, really punches above its weight on Twitter.
Yeah, no, they go hard. They'll go in on you.
Hey, Dave, do you want to read Shane's email for the podcast right here?
No. I'm gonna have to leave for 5 to 18 minutes.
Oh my God, it's so long.
Is it really?
It's so long about a show I still haven't watched.
Dave, you got to watch this show.
Oh my God, no, I'm not reading this on video.
We had when Andrew went on.
Tiger Queen.
Where's that? Oh, is it Tiger King one?
It's the one that
Carol Baskins killed her husband.
Hifadale liked the subject line. It's Tigris Rex.
That is good.
She didn't kill her husband.
Oh my God, she totally did. She 100%
says
did.
they're guilty. It's definitely true.
Yeah, I love the people that like for the Amazon delivery people. They leave like on this left side if Carol did it, right side if not. I've never seen anyone put it where she didn't do it. Like she always killed him.
You see that Nicolas Cage is going to play Joe Exotic for the movie?
Yeah, that's cool.
Why is there a movie about a show? Why?
Because it's so good, you moron. You got to watch it.
I said this when you first recommended it on the show, I want to say 2 months ago. It feels like 2 months ago. It's probably 4 days ago. But I said the more people ask me to do it, I'm not going to do it. And now it's gotten to the point where I'm 100% never going to watch that show. It's not going to happen.
It's full of people you can't believe exist. Every episode they introduce a new person that you can't believe is like an actual real person.
Yeah.
I think it's important to watch, and then you conversate with Oklahoma fans and Midwest fans on Twitter, and then you get a better understanding of what they're like when you watch the show.
I think they did a good job. I mean, obviously the timing, it was perfect. It came out right when everyone was stuck at home, so you needed Netflix. It was like wildfire.
But why do that when you have Frozen 2?
Yeah, that's one movie. The way they developed it, though, it was sort of like, okay, you meet a guy, and you're like, oh, that guy seems to be pretty cool. No, he's fucking terrible. And then you're like, oh, there's this guy. Well, that guy's pretty cool, right? Oh, no, wait, he's terrible. Like, oh, she's going to come in and be the savior. Oh, no, she's terrible. Like, the way they introduced it was like, you think you have the savior coming, and everyone is just the worst asshole as you go through. It's really well done.
So, like all the new coaches on the Pac-12?
Yeah.
But you can watch Frozen 2 6 times if you want.
You could. And then there was a follow-up episode where one person I did like, which I thought was a woman that got her arm bitten off, she's identifying as a man. So it was like, she was one of the likable people. One of the likable people is a guy that was a Walmart greeter that became Joe Exotic's campaign manager. He's like, there's a couple of likable people, but they're not like the main people. You would like it. You would like it.
Probably not going to watch it.
I also like to watch car wrecks too.
I thought his campaign manager's resume bullet was the fact that he worked at the ammo section of the local Walmart where Joe Exotic.
Maybe it wasn't a greeter. Maybe it was an ammo guy at Walmart.
That was his dream job, though. So I mean, can't fault him.
But it was perfect timing. It was like everyone's shutting down. You don't know what to do. You got to put on Netflix. And all you saw on social media was like, this is amazing. I mean, I probably would have never watched it, but I saw everyone say it was amazing. I'm like, I'll watch it. And it was amazing.
Why everyone watched the NFL draft. It was on.
I somehow avoided that one
the
too.
whole entire thing.
Did anybody watch the schedule reveal?
I'm watching it right now.
Oh.
Yeah, I started watching it and I fell asleep.
Hold on. I just want to be clear about what people are watching right now. You're all watching the schedule reveal.
Hey, it's real sports, sort of.
I mean, wow. We're really stretching definitions here, and I love it.
Anyone watch the Korean baseball?
Is this real sports right now?
Anyone watch Korean baseball? I haven't seen any of that yet.
No, it sounds awful.
ESPN was showing UCLA losing the College World Series just before you guys started. So I was watching that. That was the first baseball I'd watched in months.
So can you all do that? Can you guys watch old sports?
My wife flips channels, and I just watch what she puts on. And so she said, we're going to watch some UCLA baseball for she turned away after UCLA was up for the inning. But no, I'm not watching these people who are watching 15 games and the entire series.
My brother is watching old 1990s World Series games, and I'm like, the only thing worse than live baseball is old baseball. This is beautiful. I love it.
Is that just me?
No,
I couldn't hear a word of that. Okay.
So every time there's somebody who's calling us from AOL from 1995, everyone is hearing. We're all together. We're all in on this together.
There's somebody's, yeah.
Well, I was very excited because the Pac-12 network showed the Utah-Alabama Sugar Bowl from 2008. So that's old football, but that's good football.
Yeah, I mean, if I could watch what was it, the Oklahoma game, or the Boise State Oklahoma game, where the guy like proposed to his girlfriend like after he scored the winning touchdown. Like that was cool. I'll watch that again. But like any other game, like I don't know. I wouldn't even watch that like nonsense game that inspired this being my Twitter profile picture for the next forever right now. Like I'm not gonna do that.
I would probably watch the UCLA Washington State game. Like I would watch that.
I was at that game, so
wow.
Me and Andrew were at that. We flew to Pullman for that game.
Wow.
Yeah, I watched the first 3 quarters and then shut it off after that and cry.
And then I specifically remember we got back to our Airbnb in Idaho at like 3 a.m, and my phone told me there was a new broadcast, the recap of the game. And I think Dave just started the broadcast with what? And then just silence for like 10 seconds. That was beautiful.
Sounds about right.
That sounds right.
Did a couple, like, just because we're trying to get quarantine content, we did a couple like rewatches of games of like, we watched like a classic USC Notre Dame game, and then we did like the Orange Bowl from 2005 when they beat Oklahoma. We had Sean Cody, who was one of the players, on, and people kind of liked it, going back and watching like the highlights of an old game. But that was just for like, I don't think I would watch it normally just for like content purposes, but it was kind of fun. But
I like how you brought old players on there. Yeah, I mean, like enjoyable to watch.
Yeah, then you could get their perspective. Like he had a big sack in the game, and once he got a sack, he was just like, "Yes, I'm out. See you guys." You know, he's just like, you know, he had his play in the national championship, so that stuff was kind of fun. But
see, Dave should do that, but it should be the games that drive him crazy, like UCLA Memphis Final Four, and he can just go on a rant about how Howland mismanaged that game.
Yeah,
I want to see Dave have a player on for 50-0 UCLA USC. Let's like Dave can review that game.
Yeah.
With a player from that game, and then they could talk about all the highlights from that.
Oh man,
with you, Heisel.
Dave watching one of those games and then putting up his thought bubbles as the game's going on.
I was actually like in pretty fine fettle for that one because it was so obvious that Neuheisel was done, and I'm very into I'm a very what's the word?
Dave's pro Neuheisel.
I'm a non-fan, so I spend probably about 3/4 of every coach's tenure rooting for them to lose. So for Neuheisel, I was like, I wasn't rooting for USC. I don't want to say that. That maybe wouldn't stand with the UCLA listeners to this show right now. But I wasn't upset that they lost 15-0. That was fine. It felt like the good capper to the Neuheisel era to me.
Why don't we do this, Dave? Why don't we like rewatch together 50-0 and 13-9?
13-9 was awesome because I took the LSAT and that day, and it was halftime, and I just assumed UCLA was going to get crushed. I was like, all right, I'm just going to go take this stupid test right now. And then it was halftime, and I get out of it, and it was like, I want to say it was whatever the weird score was. Was it 7-2 at one point or some shit like that?
I don't remember. Probably.
There was some safety situation, and I was like, do I drive to the Rose Bowl from Southwestern Law, or do I drive home to Westwood from there? And I drove home and saw the rest of it, and my then roommate broke my spatula banging it after the UCLA win. It was like, I mean, when you're in college, that's the equivalent of burning your kitchen down by breaking your spatula. But yeah, that was a great game. 50-0 wasn't a great game. Like 13-9, like even like low scoring, it had a lot of high drama. 50-0 was just like, oh, should we score another touchdown? Okay.
And the Pasadena PD pepper sprayed the student section so they wouldn't rush the field.
I know. I had a lot of friends who got pepper sprayed there.
Wow.
That's one of those stories that grows with each passing year, actually. I have more friends now who got pepper sprayed by the Pasadena police than at the time. Like, I think it's like, oh, I got pepper sprayed too. Pretty soon I'm going to say it. No, I wasn't there. Nick's on video again. I saw Nick.
Back. I remember.
No.
4 years ago.
Hey, Nick, hit up the chat room. Send us some test updates from 1995.
I'm old, so it would make sense.
I don't know what that was.
Nothing.
He's in Peanuts parents mode or whatever. That's one of the settings on Zoom. Like, I want to talk like a Peanuts parents. Like, yeah. Some people won't see that because that's old. But yes.
Yep.
Nice. So
I don't know.
So Shane's email was very long. So are we not going to read it on the show?
So Shane's is better audio. I don't want him to see our faces when we're struggling to read. I think that's embarrassing.
Only one of you struggles to read. But
look, I'm not trying to cast aspersions on this show, Shane. Let's not cast aspersions.
Dave, you screw up like small words.
I screw up small words, and Ryan screws up the rest.
Yeah.
All right. Well, we've got some good president content. Do we want to do more president talk? Anybody interested in more president talk? I know it's been a riveting topic for the show.
Yes.
Oh God, yeah.
Yes.
Okay. Well, we've got an email from Kevin. So he says, "Get to the good stuff already, boys." What's with the boys? Hifliday. Hang on. Hifliday, are you still listening? Why the boys? Why boys? Why are we called boys? Anybody? Hifliday?
To belittle you.
Oh, okay. Cool. It's like the voice of God, too. He's got like a really deep, resonant voice. I love it. All right, Kevin. So I'm listening to all this BS about the goody two-shoes presidents. Boring. Let's juice it up a bit. How about a ranking for the top 5 scandalous, salacious guys who probably didn't get any until they became president, well outside the first dog, which most would not want to own up to? Surely a bilateral contest, but which party is number 1? Okay, so are we talking Kevin's not here. All right, so Ryan, when you're reading this email, is he talking about bad presidents, or is he talking about dudes who were like maybe up to some mischief, like, screwing out of wedlock, that sort of thing?
Since I'm not looking at the email or really listening to what you said, I'm going to go with...
Scandalous and salacious sounds like he's talking about guys who are up to no good.
I think so, yeah.
Doing some stuff.
I like what Bill Clinton.
Can't. Is that Nick? Is that our man Nick again?
Yeah.
Nick's coming. Nick, are you on the other side of the moon?
We can't hear you, Nick. Like if you're like kids are screaming stuff.
So I like what Bill Clinton did.
Okay, so I heard Bill Clinton. That's a good option. That is good.
JFK.
I like Bill. I like JFK. But the thing is, and the thing you got to understand is when we're talking about presidents, we're grading on a massive curve because most of these dudes were doing something. Most of them. FDR was in a wheelchair doing stuff. Like, these guys were getting up to no good.
Jefferson.
Jefferson, I think you've got to put him up there because I don't think many of these dudes were doing it with people that they had in bondage, which he did. So you've got Jefferson. I think JFK's up there because by all accounts, JFK was not like very discriminate. It was basically just anything that moved around him. Yeah, Bill Clinton, it's a little bit creepier and worse. So I'm going to go with him as like one of the top 1 or 2 because for him, it was also a very weird power thing. Like, it was always like people he kind of had in like a subservient relationship, which you don't know.
Jimmy Carter.
I don't know if Jimmy's got anything.
I'm still going with Warren G. Harding. He's the man. I mean,
he still has the best name scandal. Teapot Dome whips ass.
Teapot Dome.
He also, he fathered a child with the secretary when he was a senator. So I think it was before he came into office. So yeah.
How many of these guys do you think have fathered children outside of wedlock? Like, Bill's definitely got a couple, right? Anyone agree?
Yeah.
I bet he does.
Have to.
Yeah.
Whiskey Ring with Ulysses S. Grant.
No, Ulysses was pretty good. He was a upstanding fellow aside from the early alcoholism.
What about the Bushes?
Public.
I don't hear much about that.
Dad definitely did some stuff. There were some stories about him when he was pre-presidency. I don't know about W that much.
Yeah.
I know he went super born again, and obviously that's not dispositive, but I think he was actually pretty committed to it. So I don't think he was too personally immoral. It was just, the killing a million Iraqis,
Dave, at your recommendation, I got into the Dollop, and they do a pretty deep dive on George Bush Sr.
Yeah, it's not good. The Reagan deep dive. So if anybody wants the download on Reagan,
watch it.
Are we doing that next show, Ryan? Are we going? So we need a written defense of Reagan. Anybody out there interested in writing the written defense of Reagan? This isn't next show. Ryan's not prepared. Ryan needs to prepare with his history.
Yeah.
Are you really gonna get on Ryan for not being prepared?
That's
a little hypocritical, right?
Yeah. Look, I'll be prepared to talk about Disney princesses at the drop of a hat. Ryan is prepared in the sense that he actually researches about the thing that our show is ostensibly about. I don't do that. I bring a general sense of things.
It's very North Campus. Yeah.
Very. Extremely North Campus.
Where does
North
Trump fall in all this?
What's that?
What about Trump? Where does he fall in all this?
He's definitely he's among the worst from a quality perspective, and then also from like a salacious perspective. I just don't know. I don't know if he's tops. So we're going to have to I don't like judging these things in media res. Like, you got to look at the whole, because everyone was saying, oh, Trump's the worst after like a couple of months of office. And I'm like, look, you might anticipate that he becomes the worst for sure, but he hasn't killed like a million people yet. We've got a lot of guys who've killed like millions of people. Let's keep a little bit of perspective. He's rude. He sounds really, bombastic in the whole thing, and that's annoying to listen to, but it's not,
He's killing thousands a day right now.
Yeah, well, that's the thing is we're now at the point where we've got something that's like actually an apples to apples. Like, we can look at this and say, okay, well, thousands of people are dying a day. Is this enough to push him, past the top 5 into the top 3 or 2? Maybe. Who knows? Look, I think he's got a lot of potential. I'll say that, and it's important to have potential. It's important to look ahead and say, could I capture the brass ring? And I think he can. I think he's got that.
So he's a 4-star.
He's a 4-star with upside, definitely. No, he's like he's got Miles Jack potential as somebody who's maybe a little under recruited.
Oh my God!
Out of the Pacific Northwest, maybe doesn't go to Washington, Andrew. He doesn't end up going to the local school, and maybe he feels some hurt feelings about it towards, say, a former Washington and a former USC head coach.
What was he doing? Licking his fingers after he punched one.
Yeah, it was finger licking good.
Oh man!
The individual finger of his gloved hand. I remember that indelible image.
That was bad.
It was beautiful.
That was bad.
It's beautiful.
If Tom wants me in the chat room to oogle Reagan, so apparently he thinks Reagan's much of a looker, and then Garden of Allah.
You should.
Yeah, so I'll do that at some point.
Yeah,
Also,
I think you should do that.
And then Alex and SB wants to know what I'm going to do without Big Brother. Yeah, I'm not a Big Brother fan, but my wife would watch it. That was kind of the thing. So I'm not going to be. They should probably still do Big Brother. You're quarantined in a house. Like, as long as they kept everyone going in the house, they could probably still do that show, I would assume.
It's the production. They had to cancel Canada, which was currently filming, because production's at risk.
Oh, okay. I mean, but it's like cameras are like built in the house. Like, it just seems like that's something.
Did they have like Big Brother After Dark or whatever? Wasn't that like one of the things where they just use the motion sensor cameras to film it?
Yeah. I don't know.
It's really sweet that Ryan thinks it's all based on like just built-in cameras and that there's no production value around it. Like, he's really buying the reality television. It's a beautiful thing. I love it.
No, I was on one. And it's freaking fake. It's like, ugh, it's terrible.
Wait, what were you on?
It was a show called Worst Case Scenario. I actually I got a 1-cent check just recently, residuals from that. Really 1 cent. But it was it was TBS show. And they came.
Wait, hang on. What the hell are we talking about? That we would rewatch football games that are old when we could, all of us, because nobody watched the show, we could sit here and watch those episodes and critique them as episodes of the POC.
We could. Oh, no, it was only like one episode. I was like, it wasn't like it was on a recurring thing. It was
okay.
It was
So
one segment.
we'll watch that show over and over again, and just find new and interesting things to dive into.
Well, you have The Price is Right that he was on too.
Yeah.
Price is Right.
Okay, every TV appearance that Ryan has ever made. Let's do it.
But they had so I didn't know what this was like 9/11 times. This was like, almost 20 years ago. And they came down to the beach and they were like taking people's pictures and they would interview you. Then they like, oh, we're doing some show. They don't tell you what it is. And then they picked me to go on this show, and it was called Worst Case Scenario. And there's these books that they were selling at the time that were like, hey, what do you do if you're in quicksand? Or if you're like fall out, you're rolling down a hill, like how to like stuntmen like do it without getting hurt. There was just stuff like, if you're in this terrible situation, how do you get out? Like, what are you supposed to do? And so they would put like a regular person into a bad situation and like see what you do. And they flew me to Austin, Texas, and I was put in like a swarm of bees. So I had bees like crawling on me and everything. It was kind of crazy. Yeah, but it was weird. But so when I go in there, like I come out, and I don't like bees, but I don't know if a lot of people like bees. They weren't the murder hornet, which those are awesome, by the way. But I come out of the thing, and they're showing you all these bees, and they're like, oh, it's like, holy shit, this is crazy. And my sister comes up. I didn't know she was there. She comes up, and she's in a bee mask. They take her mask off. And I'm like, hey, we give a big hug, and it was great to see her. Like, she's living in San Diego. I don't know why she's in Texas. And they're like, okay, do that again. I'm like, do what again? Act surprised to see her sister. I'm like, I was surprised to see her sister. And like, no, but we need to get the shot again. And I'm like, oh, this is bullshit. So, yeah, you kind of learn early on that it's just crap.
So that's how your career fell apart in the television industry.
Yeah. No, it was, I don't know. It was fun doing stuff like that every once in a while.
Ooh, okay. Andrew's got a comment. I like this one. Ooh, Champagne Larry's here.
Yes.
All right, Andrew's got a question. Underappreciated. Is this a question? Underappreciated.
It's a question. Yeah.
Ryan's Stanford voice. Consciously inspired by Judge Smales and Caddyshack, because that's
like whenever Ryan says Stanford, he's got this like awesome Judge Smales thing where he's kind of clowning on them for that. So I'm wondering, like, is he, yeah, exactly, is he like doing that on purpose?
Yes.
Like channeling Judge Smales, or is it just kind of more in general?
I think everyone pronounces Stanford that way, right? Matthew, you can attest.
All right, Matthew.
As the only Stanford fan, it's Stanford, correct?
Yeah, it's pretty close.
Yeah. Okay. Cool.
I don't know what. I don't know where it came from, Andrew. It was there was something. I can't remember what it was, but they would say Stanford, and it would just sort of do that.
It's outstanding. You don't get enough credit for that. That's an outstanding. Makes me laugh every time.
Ryan doesn't get enough credit. I mean, part of it's because he doesn't do any of the work, but
yeah.
Doesn't get enough credit.
My sister went to University of San Diego, so she would come up to USC games. She was 2 years younger than me. And she didn't know college football. She didn't know anything. All she did is she hates Stanford. I hate the tree. She just would yell at the tree. She would hate the tree. So
I love her.
Yeah.
Yeah, it captures the essence perfectly. And I mean, even I was listening to Ralph Russo's pod yesterday. David Shaw is trying to turn the coronavirus thing into like a recruiting pitch for Stanford. His exact words on Ralph Russo's pod were, this coronavirus is basically an advertisement for Stanford football, because of the whole concept of like, if your football experience isn't exactly what you think it is, then, what better thing to be getting than like a Stanford education and all that. So he couldn't even let something like that pass without trying to, with a national audience, twist it into a little opportunity to do some recruiting.
That
At least
makes
your coach
no
is
sense.
recruiting, though. That's nice.
Demon take.
Did he refer to it as the 40-year decision?
He didn't use those words, but he was like, if your football experience isn't what you think it is, at least you're, and it's hard to argue with, but at the same time, I was like, oh my God, of course.
But isn't
David
that
Shaw
always
did
true? Like, it's not coronavirus specific.
It was like, if the season's canceled, it's like you're still getting something
Like,
out of it.
if you break your leg, you're at Stanford. If you get hit by a car, you're at Stanford. if you suck and we didn't know it, you're at Stanford. Like this is all. It's the basic pitch of Stanford.
Yeah, Woods. I enjoyed your breakdown. You know, you kind of said it bluntly on one of the more recent pods about that recruits see Stanford. It's kind of like Stanford and then everybody else from that. Because one of the things that frustrates me about the Husky fans and the Husky bubble is they act like we're Stanford, and we're not. And so yeah, exactly. So you just kind of, you know, you threw some cold water on people that they needed to hear on one of the more recent pods.
Well, and a lot of it is branding. I mean, no offense, Matthew, as the lone representative of Stanford in existence, but like a Stanford education, it does open doors for you that otherwise wouldn't, because of like just the evolving up your own ass of like that entire world. But like the quality of the education itself, I mean, I don't know. I'm kind of I've given my own hot takes on four-year institutions, but graduate with a degree. Okay, cool. Like I think people look at it like, oh, U.S. News has Washington at 23 or whatever, and they've got UCLA at 16. Oh wow, nobody gives a shit. Stanford has the brand. Stanford is the academic brand. Vanderbilt's not the academic brand. Rice isn't the academic brand, and not even regionally. Like it's not like they're polling. It's not like Vandy's sitting there polling guys from Alabama who have the grades. It's not like the value of a Vandy education is more than Alabama. But Stanford has polled some guys from USC in the past. Like it has happened because for some guys, that level of education, that level of whatever, the academic brand is enough to do it. It's just a different deal.
I hate when UW goes against them. I hate it. They're the worst because they've lost, you know, 3 or 4 guys in state the last 10 years, like really good players to Stanford.
Yeah, no, that's why it was so scary when Harbaugh and Shaw had them going so good, because it's like, shit, man, that's going to be an impossible, because UCLA has this, you know, done a pretty decent job with that set over the years, but competing with a very good Stanford is nobody wants to do that.
Matthew, what do you think of David Shaw, Matthew?
I mean, I think there's I think it seems like he's a really good guy.
Mm-hmm.
He seemed like he had things figured out from a coaching, from a management standpoint, other than, you know, for the first really 6-7 years, other than some very iffy issues with too many delays of game, doesn't know when to use timeouts and stuff like that. I think a lot of fans are getting a lot more concerned recently. I think along the lines, Dave, of what you've called out, that it is just, I mean, it's hard. I mean, yes, we had a horrific run of injuries the last 2 years, but even if that hadn't happened, even if we had a healthy offensive line, it's not like we were going to go 10-2, you know, like Ryan, you know, predicted. I mean, I don't think that was ever going to happen.
Yeah, Ryan was wild for that one. That was wild at the time that Ryan decided that they were going 10-2.
I thought you were being too pessimistic at 6-6. I didn't think 10-2 was possible.
Yeah.
I mean, it's it. Like, we'll see what happens if we actually have a healthy offensive line, you know, with a whole bunch of freshmen who got real experience last year, you know, and Walker Little coming back and guys like that. It'll be interesting to see, you know, what we can do. But
yeah, Davis Mills is really good too.
It's been declining as if the last four seasons, and we got to figure out how to turn that around.
Yeah. That was way sadder than I wanted to hear.
He's a phenomenal ambassador of that brand. Like every time I hear him, I'm like, I do not like this guy. He's like a pompous ass, but at the same time, I can't really argue with anything that he's saying.
He's so beautifully Stanford. Everything about him is so good Stanford.
He's an outstanding ambassador of that brand. I was a little surprised to hear one of you guys put him on the hot seat a little bit on one of the more recent pods. Was that you, Dave?
Might have been. I don't know.
Yeah, I think it was Dave. We talked to RJ. RJ said like they would never fire him. Like they could never fire him.
I don't think it would. I don't think it would happen after this year unless it got really, really bad. But it's just the Pac-12 has changed so much. Even a thing like Stanford, where they do prioritize certain other things, I just don't know if they'll be able to continue for too long. If it is, successive seasons of like 4-8.
As I said, I think it would take at least two more 4-8 like seasons.
Yeah.
For there to be a real hot seat.
Shaw's making a transition to the media. Come on, he's on NFL networks. He's everywhere except recruiting kids for Stanford.
Yeah, but that was true from the beginning.
Oh, we're getting some smack talk now. That's what that was.
Oh,
Yeah.
Hey,
It's
meanwhile,
weird.
Thorne ain't considered progress, so I'd rather be Stanford.
Yeah. Recruiting has actually been good. Like Stanford, I think the number 3 or 4 class in the conference, but dudes are leaving, and it's just kind of like something isn't quite right. There's something off.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I know like you guys are getting on RJ's case for for defending some of that. I mean, every single scholarship person who left, was in the transfer portal was a graduate transfer. So, I mean, everyone had been there for 4 years, and it is a really small graduating class that was coming out.
Yeah, I guess, but where Stanford's money was made for so many years was having those like big built-out fifth-year seniors on the defensive and offensive line. So losing guys to grad transfer isn't a nothing thing for Stanford, and it doesn't make sense. Like, I know the argument that they can't get into grad school. Did that change? Because guys were going fifth years all the time up until the last year, basically.
Well, I'd say two things probably. One is that I agree with you about the defensive line, losing some of the starters. Yeah. I mean, there's no way that's like, things happen or like that's certainly planned. It's possible, though, that you might have had more often in the past. You had fifth years who just got their undergraduate degree in their fifth year. And I think maybe because of the graduate transfer rule that makes it easy to go to another school, a lot of guys have more motivation to get their degree in 4 years, so they have more options.
So you're saying maybe not as many of them would have been going to like master's programs at Stanford in the past. They would have just been taking 5 years to finish their undergrad.
Yeah, I mean, it's the Matt Leinart model.
Yeah. Oh, ballroom dancing. Ballroom Matty.
I love it how there's so many graduate transfers, like quarterbacks going places and stuff. And not once have I ever heard about what the hell they were transferring for besides football. But for Stanford, it makes a difference. Like, there's these programs or whatever you get. But whoever is transferring, I don't know what the hell Russell Wilson transferred for. He didn't care. He just wanted to play somewhere else. So this is the only time we ever hear about what program you're going to get into.
Well, I mean, I can speak firsthand. It's really hard to get into graduate school at Stanford. So, yeah.
And as David said, like there's probably 4 or 5 universities on the planet Earth that are transcendent enough for somebody at a job interview to care that you got a graduate degree from that school. And it's Harvard, it's Yale, it's Oxford, and Stanford sort of sneaks into that group. And as Andrew said, I think people go, oh, we're Washington, we're the same education as Stanford. No, we're not. We might be in terms of Newsweek or U.S. News and World Reports, but just that name alone on the letterhead is your education. And so that we give that the approval universally, but nobody asks the question about why you're going to grad school at Mississippi State. Sorry, Phil.
Any Mike Leach fans on the podcast?
I loved Mike Leach when he was in Pullman.
Me.
He's got a Stanford QB. What are you talking about?
His eye charts look pretty damn good, man. Like to do what he did in Pullman and at Texas Tech. I think when you go SRS, which is the advanced metric that a lot of my eye charts are based off, just because it goes back forever and it's good.
Watch
Tech.
Ryan's eyes. Watch Ryan's eyes while you talk.
Let me pin his video right now. 9 out of the 10 years that he was there, top half of the Big 10 or the Big 12 in SRS, and I think they're 1 out of 9 or 1 out of 10 in the 10 years since he's been there. Like the guy's a maniac, but I have immense respect for what he did in Pullman. Even though the Huskies kicked his ass every year. It's still not easy to do what he did there.
He was a great.
It's not easy to get your ass kicked every year. You know. Leach is. Sorry, Leach is easily, I think, one of the. I mean, if you're going like pound for pound, given the talent he has, he's probably a top 10 coach. In all
top 5.
And it's uncanny what he's able to do. I'm interested to see if that was a feature and not the bug, not a feature. I don't know where I'm going with that. But if he gets more talent at Mississippi State, if the results even change, or if it was just he's got a pure plug and play, and he's going to generate after 4 years his 9 to 10 wins every single season, and that's just what he's going to do. I wonder if there is upside above where it was at Washington State.
But he's not going to get more talent relative to his competition at Mississippi State.
Right.
No, definitely not. But maybe from a Andrews SRS standpoint, if it actually exceeds what he was doing at Washington State and Texas Tech from like just a quality of play standpoint.
But he gets an 8-game conference schedule, so there's an automatic win right there.
There you go.
Yes.
Oh, Andrew's getting fired up now.
Guess what?
Dude, you can see
fucking matters.
Right now.
Wheelhouse.
Right, Ryan. I think there was like a couple weeks in February where I was like, damn, man, and I understand it because you play Notre Dame every year. That's a really hard thing. Like, so you want to be able to have cool non-conference games besides Notre Dame. But I just remember like dogman.com, which I feel like it's probably one of the more insane little communities in the 247 network. But when they were switching to the Pac-12 and there was so much consternation about north-south split, people wanted the zipper because access to LA was perceived to be so important. And so back in February when we were going back and forth a little bit about the 8-game schedule, which I get from the USC standpoint, it was scaring me a little bit. It was like, God damn, are they really trying to have us send us to Los Angeles like once every 4 years after being in the conference since 19 whatever? And so that's a tough one. I mean, I think it's got to be 9 games. It's just got to be 9 games, and you just have to be okay with playing 11.
Well, I think it can be done if they you got to realign it and put Stanford and Cal in the South where they belong, and then between USC and UCLA, every team in the North Division can come to LA every other year.
But then our Bay Area gets cut off. That's.
Oh, you guys just want fucking everything. What is it with you people?
We don't want
to a cooler place.
We
don't pay for you guys to vacation. Is that enough?
We don't want less than the Arizona schools. Why do they deserve it? They joined in 1978.
They're at a competitive disadvantage.
If you drank in Tempe, they deserve it. Yes.
Yeah, it's hot as shit there.
It's a tough one. It's a really tough one. But I'll fight for the I'll fight for that 9-game schedule, that 8-game. In the ACC, they play 2. The Clemson plays 2 P5s every year. It's not an issue in the ACC.
Just make it rain less in Seattle and get people to move there, all right? Then you won't have to worry about this shit.
We're getting a shit ton of people to move here. The problem is they're East Coast transplants and not exactly birthing football studs. But no, we have plenty of people moving here.
What, Joe? Yeah. What is that? Is that Joe? What's your background? It's hard to see.
That's Sun Devil Stadium when Keaton Slovis threw 300 yards in like 10 minutes.
Oh, really?
That was that game. You were probably there for that, right?
Ryan doesn't remember.
I don't remember that.
Thank you for knocking off Oregon, by the way. Big fist pump from Husky Nation for that one. Yeah, we do what we can do. We don't do much, but we'll do what we can do.
Nick had something in the chat about. He said Sharknado's a low key. What did he say?
Low key movie. I translate Nick. Okay, can I translate Nick? You stay right there. Low key movie I like is Sharknado. LOL.
I think I've seen it, but I don't remember.
You know what low key means in this respect? It's sort of like an embarrassed to watch, but I like it. That sort of thing.
You get it, Ryan? Did you like Sharknado? Did you see it or no?
I've never seen Sharknado. It's also on the list of things where enough people have talked about it that I'm never going to see it.
Gotcha. Anyone Sharknado fans? I think we lost Nick anyway, but.
Well, I've got to go in about 5 minutes too. So.
Yeah, we'll probably wrap it up, but that's this is fun. Like this is neat.
This was actually great.
Hopefully.
An hour and a half episode, not bad, right?
Yeah. So, Dave, you should set up a YouTube page for our Pac-12 podcast, and then we could upload this to that. So
okay. You want me to add that to the long list of shit I have to do for our show every single night?
Yeah.
When I'm done putting my children to bed, when I'm done working my 2 jobs, you want me, after I've slaved.
What's on David's list of stuff to do? If you can see.
After I've slaved for hours.
0.
Create content for
Ryan, you admitted to Thursday night flip club, so I don't think you're in a position to talk about who's
But I can do Thursday night flip club.
Go at it.
I can do that.
You gotta just you gotta just know, you gotta just use as fuel the cult following that you've built up. Like, people love you. I was prepared in Atlanta, if I came down for the Auburn game in 2018 and you were gonna come meet us for lunch, I was gonna try to get all the people I was with to chant your name when you walked into the bar. Like, you are a freaking cult hero, man. So
that's
what happens basically. Channel that and to do some actual work for Ryan, channel it.
Did you guys see the soccer team in Germany that is charging $20 to have a cutout of yourself in the stands? So I'm thinking we could just have a Rose Bowl section of just David Woods. We can just raise some funds for that.
It'd be the first time I sat in the stands of the Rose Bowl since
Outstanding.
2009.
Same with Ryan.
Yeah. I want to go to a game with Bluebeard and Dave. So I'm going to do that. So
Games are so much fun. Dave, you're so wrong on this. Like, I don't understand how you're so smart and you're wrong on this so much.
I love football games. I love watching them from the comfort.
No, you don't understand. Like, you stand on a golf course for 6 hours drinking whatever amazing beers your friends brought.
So maybe
you remember some of a game.
You're operating here from a perspective where I didn't do that for many, many years, and I did. I used to do the Lot H like 10 hours before the games. And
Lot H sucks. No, Lot H is terrible. Like,
well,
you find like
I've done the golf course too, but my point is, so I've had one beer while we've been sitting here. Ooh, wow! Look at what
I've had.
Oh, cool. So I've had one while we've been sitting here. If I have more, two. I'm a useless piece of crap. And the only way to stand on a golf course for anything longer than an hour is to drink many of them. And then if I actually want to watch the football game that I'm paying to watch, then it's like, maybe I should.
We tailgate in a shady spot, so that part helps. And then you only really need to remember the second half.
But okay, so I had a buddy who I had tickets with in 2009. And what would happen, and this may have been related to the Neuheisel era, it's hard to know, but what would end up happening is we would walk into the stadium between the first and second quarter drunk. Just like
No, we get inside by the kickoff, but okay.
But not quite making memories anymore, like that level. And then he would end up sleeping in a planner at halftime, and then I would collect him around the fourth quarter. You know those planners that are outside of the entrances at the Rose Bowl? He would sleep in
I just muted Bluebeard because we have a little like side topic after you're done, but I mute Bluebeard because there's a lot of background noise. Go ahead.
Yeah, but it was but I basically what I'm saying is it wouldn't be good for me long term to spend a lot of time tailgating for football games. It was good for college though. A lot of fun.
You have to pace yourself. Just pace yourself, Dave.
The way I pace myself now is I have precisely one beer and then I go to sleep, which is what I'm going to be doing in about a minute.
Right. Well, monsters. I will bring a lot of monsters for you.
That's what I'm hearing.
All right, last topic for you, Dave, before we go. Okay, I need to know what the hell's going on with Bluebeard because he's wearing headphones. But when he talks and he's on mute, it's like he's actually a DJ in a club. There's all kinds of stuff going on behind him, but somehow he has headphones on, but we can hear all the shit that's going on in the background, and it just makes it impossible for other people to talk. So I don't know what's going on. I'm going to unmute him.
No. Okay, my wife is watching TV really loudly. These are noise-canceling headphones.
Okay.
And so I'm sorry.
We are not wearing those.
No, I didn't know the mic was picking that up, and I'm sorry. No, I've been muting myself when I'm not talking. I'm very sorry.
You were totally fine.
So no, I muted the TV for a second. I'm sorry, I didn't know that was happening because I can't hear me at all.
Ryan is sneakily the bigger asshole of the two of us. He likes to point
No, I know where he went to school. I know he's not sneaky about it.
It is funny though. Like I do a lot of workout Zooms, and there's always someone that's got like something blaring in the background. Like you understand, like if you just listen to TV, like everyone hears it.
No.
It's crazy.
I've been muting myself except for when I'm speaking. I didn't realize it was that much background when I talked. I'm sorry.
No, you're golden. Worries. You're golden. I would never have been so rude to even point it out. However, I can't.
I couldn't hear it.
I can't handle my co-host. I can't control his behavior. See, you guys are guests. You're a company. I'm not going to be rude to you. Ryan, on the other hand, I guess he was reared a different way. That's fine. Look, all everybody's got a different method.
Dave, come to a football game with us. I will pace you. I will pace you. Okay.
We'll do it.
I'll see you in a year and a half or so.
Yeah, something like that. When
That's fine. But you have to make sure he does a broadcast while he's drunk after the game.
No, that's the thing is a lot of people can do things drunk. Like a lot of people can write drunk. They can record drunk. They can do all kinds of things drunk. I'm not one of those people. I have and I'm useless.
We will bring in a fireball flask for you.
You underestimate the brand you've built for yourself, Woods. You underestimate it.
Oh man!
If you can do this drunk, you can do a broadcast drunk.
I'm at one beer. One.
That's not even real beer. I don't know what you're drinking.
This is a Budweiser.
How are you?
That's not beer. Not beer. Not beer.
No, but you don't understand. It's the king of beers.
But you're from LA, so I was told.
So I'm drinking the king of beers.
El Segundo.
Yep.
People in LA.
Where the wind comes sweeping down the plain.
All right, that's a good time.
Yeah, dude, Oklahoma is where we end. All right, everybody.
We appreciate everybody.
Thank you so much for joining us. It was a lot of fun. We'll try to do this again sometime in the next year and a half while we're still in quarantine. Football.
Great negativity.
Thanks, guys.
Appreciate it. Thank you for coming out.
That's good.